evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix
That's
and
Todd.
mingle since 2011. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is, guess who's back? Aguna, the voice of reason. Stephen, the independent thinker. Keith, the constitutional conservative. And my cousin Todd. We've got a packed show for you tonight. It is first Mardi Gras, start of the Lenten season when Ash Wednesday comes tomorrow, very sacred time of the year for Christians. We know that Ramadan has already started for our Muslim brothers and sisters. But more importantly, it's Tariff Tuesday, and the president of the United States will be addressing both chambers of Congress, and it is not a State of the Union address. NASCAR with Stephen, and then we'll talk about this trade war that started today between a ton of countries, China, Canada, Mexico, and they all said they're going to retaliate against the United States. The Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, had some sort of great fiasco with President Trump and Vice President Vance at the White House. The head of FBI's field office retires amid a battle with the Trump administration over the January 6 cases. Diana Taurasi of the WNBA retires, and what a career she has had. If you haven't heard about her, we'll talk about her tonight. The Supreme Court hears arguments on Mexico gun suit. The measles outbreak continues with no signs of slowing. Federal workers, some of them, were ordered to return to the office, and they said it was messy. There were no desks, no Wi-Fi, no lights. And BlackRock strikes a deal to bring ports on both sides of the Panama Canal under American control. That and more, if we can fit it in. First up, we lost Aguna just as quick as we got him. First up, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, I don't have any film for you.
Oh, Stacey, that's okay. I would love to show you the clip because it was so blatant and so unbelievable. So, Kyle Busch hasn't won a race. This was COTA. This was a road course. Kyle Busch is one of my favorite drivers. Been there forever. He hadn't won a race in 59 races. Now he hasn't won a race in 60. But at one point, the guy who won the race, Christopher Bell, went as far as you could come over and tried to take his rear bumper out and spin him out, but he didn't. But he ended up winning the race anyway. He won it fairly cleanly, but he was intentionally trying to take out Busch, and he's done it before. And then afterwards, they had a great big confrontation, and I was kind of hoping Busch would be a little more firm with, but he was really on top of him. He was really upset, and he should have been. Because he said, I would never wreck you. I'm giving you a clean race every time. Give me a clean race. So you had the drama with that. And Christopher Bell won a race last week. So he's young, up and coming. Kyle Busch is around 40 years old. And like I said, he's one of my favorite drivers. And it was a really good race. But the last 40 laps was absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed this race like I do all road courses. But Stacey, if I could real quick, I would like to every week take a team and just bring them out so people can see them, because every team consists of maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers. Today I'm talking about Trackhouse. This is their third year in NASCAR, so they're still up and coming, but they have some really good guys. They got Daniel Suez. He's from Suarez, Mexico. 99 is his car, and he's 33 years old, so he's a little bit older. Ross Chastain drives at number 1. He's from Alpha, Florida. He's 32. And the last guy's the oldest, he's 35. He's from Auckland, New Zealand. So we have a guy from Mexico, a guy from Florida, a guy from New Zealand. His name is Shane Van Gissenberg. He drives at 88. And he is a phenom. He is great. He was some kind of champion in New Zealand 3 different times. So he really knows how to race his car. He's great on road courses. He got a little bit messed up here. but he could have won the race easily. So it's track house racing. This one team to take care of, but the next week is where they're going to race at Phoenix, and it's a 1 mile course. And one of the guys on the team I was talking about, Daniel Suez, Ross Chastain, and Shane Van Gissenberg. I would go with Ross Chastain to get at least a top 5, maybe a top 3. It's a really good track here for him, and he was really strong at the road course. So anybody that's pretty good at the road course, they're going to be good here. Chase Elliott, he got wrecked on the first corner. That's about, 20 some corners. He got wrecked on the very first one, rode around at about 30th place, almost the whole race, came up slowly with about the last 40 laps, ended up finishing 4th. And I had him finishing in the top 5 because he was my guy for the race, but he would have won that race if he hadn't been spun out early. But racing is great this year. It was great last year. It's in some places, it's even a little better. Like this road course was awesome. They cut the size of the track down a lot from where it was before. And it's good. It's not 100% the way I like it, but it makes the race a little bit more exciting. It's a little more tight, and it's a lot more harder for the driver. So it makes it good. So we continue on. Like I said, we're going to Phoenix next week, a little tiny 1 mile track, and it should be exciting. And next week, Kyle Busch, who I mentioned, was really mad at Christopher Bell for trying to wreck him because he's wrecked him before. He said, I'm going to wreck you. So this is a good track next week. So if you want to watch somebody wreck somebody, it's going to be Busch is going to wreck Bell if he can get anywhere near his bumper.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to look a little bit at Diana Taurasi. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. She is an incredible athlete. Let me share my screen. She's an incredible athlete. When I heard all the things she did, I was just so amazed. All right.
Some big news, by the way, from the WNBA this morning. Phoenix Mercury legend Diana Taurasi announcing her retirement. Taurasi playing her entire 20-year career with the Mercury, and in that time, she picked up 3 championships, an MVP trophy, and more than 10,000 points. And oh, by the way, she's also a 6-time Olympic gold medalist. Diana Taurasi, one of the league's all-time greats. She said, quote, "I'm full and I'm happy."
She's full. She's full of incredible records, trophies, all of the things. Congrats to Diana.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget.
Okay. Can you imagine that?
A female Larry Bird.
She's got 6 gold medals from the Olympics, in addition to championships at the college level and at the WNBA level. She is amazing. I just can't wait to see what she's going to do after she retires. You think she's going to coach? Is she going to start maybe be an owner of a franchise? I just can't wait to see it.
It's good to see a white person excel like that for once.
So,
I love it.
Todd, you must have listened to
that. Todd didn't hear me. I don't think Todd heard me. I was definitely going after Todd.
Yes,
there.
I didn't hear what he said because I don't listen to Coons. I heard what you said.
All right. So anyway, let's move on. Anything else with sports before we move on? Do you want to talk about your trade, Stephen, that you got Debo from San Francisco? Aguna, you want to talk about anything with the world champion Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, we stole Debo. I think we got him for a 5th round next year, something like that. Nothing too much. But yeah, he's a little bit older. I think he's about 30 right now, maybe 29. But he's great. He's had some injury issues. Don't care. If he can stay healthy, he's a top 10 player. He's Mr. Utility. He can do anything, and he's so fast, so strong. One of my top 10 players that I've liked in the last 10 years, a lot. Maybe top 5. Like him a lot. He's on a good team now. We got a quarterback that can get him the ball anytime. We're just adding to the team, and that's a huge get. And he's just a football player, and he loves to play football, and you can tell. And that's what we want on our team. That's what we got. We got his McCaffrey's brother. Watch McCaffrey get better this year. We have a lot of things that are coming together. We need to concentrate on some defense. Maybe we'll get that what's his face out of Cleveland, for our defense. But things are just looking up. Things haven't been this good in decades. Even RG3 kind of pales to this comparison to what we have now, what we're building. We have so much more building around the team than just RG3, and that's all we had was him. So I'm looking forward to next year and the next year and the next year. Things are looking good.
Very good, Cousin Todd. Before Aguna talks, did you want to talk about the NFL?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You're on mute, Todd.
I can't even deal with him. He just got back and already he's making fun. I think.
And Michael Sam.
What? Oh my gosh. You know what? Just forget it. I think the Flyers are going to win.
Todd always gives up. Todd always gives up, man.
Stop giving up, Ty.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I will comment quickly on this Debo thing. Do I like Debo as a player? Yes. But we got to determine whether or not it's going to be the Debo of 3 years ago or the Debo of last year, right? Where he only had 3 touchdowns. I think he had 600 yards receiving. I know he was nicked up, but he is a change maker. He's a physical guy, but because he's physical and because he runs hard and because he's this change, again, when healthy, he is definitely a difference maker. But he's been nicked up because of the way he plays. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in with the Commanders next year. Now, the thing is, to Steven's point, he's a complimentary guy, right? So you already got McLaren, right? So you put Debo in there, and Debo can also supplement your running game, can supplement your passing game. He can do a special teams, very versatile player there. So definitely a difference maker. So it'll be interesting to see because the Commanders are right there where, remember Houston last year, right? So Houston finished the year before pretty strong, and then this year they didn't. I mean, they still made the playoffs. They still, won that division, but they weren't as good as they were the year before. So it's interesting to see what the Commanders do. Again, Debo is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the offseason, right? So, one good thing about the Commanders, they got a lot of cap room.
Yeah, and then Debo came there because he wants to go to somebody who has a chance to win. That's what he wanted to do. So that's a compliment to us.
You got a young quarterback on a rookie deal, right?
Yeah.
So you got a young quarterback on a rookie deal. You already made it to the championship game. So there's a lot of wiggle room there for putting some support players around it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Am I scared of Debo? No, I'm not scared of the Commanders right now, right? So we'll see what happens. They still gotta come through Philly. They still gotta deal with Philly. But I do think it was a good look for them to play because I thought he was going to go to the Panthers. So and for a 5th rounder, yeah, I mean, why not? Now the only thing that's interesting, they didn't renegotiate his deal. So he's on a 1-year deal, 5th round pick. So it's kind of like a win-win for both. Because if he goes in and he balls out, he can get that extension, right? He's going to get paid. If he goes there and he doesn't work out, you only gave up a 5th round for him. So I mean, that's not bad. So
win. If you remember, my prediction came true. I said, if you can remember, that the Flyers would win the World Series, and look at us now.
Yeah. You said so much that we didn't listen to, Todd. So we got to go back and run the tape. But I appreciate it regardless. You put on a little bit of weight there, Todd.
No, I did not.
You better adhere to your New Year's resolution, Todd.
I have not put on the weight.
Don't give up on the gym membership.
You got to get outside and move your body around, Todd.
Don't give up on the membership, Todd.
Don't even try
still
it.
The trial period.
Yes, Todd. Give the whole fat in the face, Todd.
Urban Fitness membership.
We on steroids?
Oh, the kids you.
Yeah.
Keith is going to say something about Todd's weight.
Yeah, I'm thin as a rail, and I'll bring a scale in so you can see. How much do I look like I weigh?
I don't know. I'm not going to. Todd, you look kind of wide there, Todd. Maybe it's the gray.
No,
you're saying it's blaming it on the shirt.
Yeah, look at wait.
No,
look at this dude.
You put on a girdle.
Are you crazy? I don't have no.
You got a shaper on.
Whatever.
Get yourself.
That is hilarious.
Don't suck in the gut. Just be free.
Hilarious.
Live and be free, Todd. We're free. We're land of the free.
All right, come on with the
Right.
Eagles.
So, okay, so let's talk about the Eagles. The world now, it's not just the Eagles, it's the world champions. We're the world champions. And it hasn't even been a month, and it's just some phenomenal stuff going on. Yeah, I went to the parade, and I've lived with this team from day one, from my son going to the preseason game to the parade at the end. It was just a phenomenal season. So we're gonna ride this.
You
I'm
took the
riding this.
baby to the parade?
He did. He was in school. Took my
Oh.
wife to the parade. So we went to the parade together. So we played hooky and we went to the parade. Went down there by City Hall, took pictures by the Love Hurt sign. It was just a great day. And number 2 is way better than number 1. Why? Because number 2 says you belong. Number 2 says it's not a fluke. Number 2 says, it's the beginning of a dynasty. So it was a great year. So
Did
that
you
being
climb
said,
a pole?
I did not climb a pole because unlike you guys, I know what I know what my limitations are. I know what my sizes are, man. I know what to wear. That's not gonna make me look. Just kidding. All right, I'm not gonna go there. But at the end of the day, no, I did not climb a pole, but I was there in City Hall. It was a great day for Philadelphia, great day for the city. The city was green. It was great. Howie Roseman got hit in the head with a beer can.
Yeah,
so
that
in
was
great
hard.
fashion. That's typical Philly stuff going on.
Yeah, typical.
So we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk about the offseason with Saquon's extension, which is well deserved, right? He definitely was the difference maker. He got a 2-year deal, the highest paid running back. Because again, he broke records this year. He's already in the Hall of Fame. And you put a ring on top of a record-breaking season, a record-breaking team. It's just a good news story. And in going back to Hard Knocks episode from last year, where they filmed the decision to allow him to test the open market, that was NFL gold. I mean, to capture that moment in which the Giants, as a franchise, decided to let their number 2 overall draft pick test the open market because they thought it has been because of their mediocre team had achieved. Therefore, they went out and paid Daniel Jones, which was the quarterback, because I know you don't know that position, but it went out and paid him. And Saquon was like, "Look, he said, I want you a Giant. Make me an offer." They said, "No, go out there and test the open market." And then they filmed it later on. They're like, as long he can test the open market as long as he doesn't go to the Philadelphia Eagles. And look at God. Came to the Eagles, broke the season records, came in there, won a championship for us now. And it may be the beginning. I'm not going to say we're going to run it back. Let me see what this offseason says, because there's a lot of stuff in the works. I know, Steven, you talked about Myles Garrett. If he comes to Philadelphia, which I don't know if we could pull that off, but if he comes to Philadelphia and you have Myles Garrett and Carter, Davis, Nolan Smith, that phenomenal defense that destroyed Patrick Mahomes, and you add Myles Garrett to that, oh my God. And it wouldn't be fair. Let's put it that way. It would not be fair. But we'll see.
That's what we're going to get him in Washington.
Who cares about fair? It's all about winning.
It's all about winning, and
we're going to get him in Washington, and we're going to stop Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
and what is his history of health? He's a little shaky too.
Yeah, he's so shaky. He's wearing a ring right now.
No, he's wearing a ring right now, but he's had some bad years, man. He's had some bad years. His health is shaky too.
I don't care. That doesn't
matter.
But
his health record is the same as Debo. We're all 1 or 2 injuries of being irrelevant.
It's a context.
If you lose Barkley, you're irrelevant.
That's not true. At the end of the day, because you still have Smith, you still have A.J. Brown. They're run first, which is why they rewarded him. But if you look at his injury history the last couple of years, because I had him in fantasy, so I know he hadn't been injured. Now, he's been injured in New York, and if you look at the factors of that, because they had a horrible offensive line, they had to rely on him heavily to make everything happen. They ran him harder. In Philadelphia, they ran first, but they also supplemented him with A.J. Brown, with Smith, Dallas Goedert. There's so many weapons with Jalen Hurts himself. He had to do a lot in New York, therefore he got banged up. Just like with your whole point about Debo. If Debo doesn't have to carry the load, he may stay healthy, right?
Right.
You look at McCaffrey and the 49ers, They put a lot on him, right? The first year he was doing great, and then it came back that second year he burned them out, right? So I get your point there. But
well, he got hurt really bad. He got hurt bad.
Yeah.
He may never play again.
He may not play again, right? Exactly. But he also had to your point, a history of injury. But they rode him. They rode him like a racehorse.
Yeah,
So,
but he was awesome. He was rolling,
All right, so let me,
he
excuse
was
me.
rolling
Can I
until he
play
wasn't.
this? Can I play
and
this?
that's anybody.
Can I play this?
Mhm.
Okay, let me play this for you.
All right, here we go.
Obviously, Saquon franchising and trade, I don't think is realistic.
Are we positive that nobody's gonna pay him that kind of money? Like, there's nobody in the draft. There's no free agents, receivers they're either gonna be going back to their team at $20 million.
I mean, who would you say would go sign a running back to that dollar
A
amount?
team anyone that has money to spend.
There's a lot of running backs in free agency.
Yeah, but are any potential difference makers really? Like after you watch this film?
Even if Saquon's number one on your board, do you imagine anyone's going to have such a gap between Saquon and Jacobs, Pollard, Henry, whoever else, that they're going to want him at $12 million a year or minus whatever we're willing to eat and send a draft pick?
Right. And then if we did, what would somebody realistically give up?
I just think all the teams that need a running back are going to look at Saquon. Do you feel good about eating $3 to $4 million for a 5th round pick? Like, I wouldn't.
I don't know. There's no guarantee we can trade it. So, having the needs that we have in a $12 million, 27-year-old running back.
Dang. And history was made.
I don't understand. For Aguna's point, I do know what position he plays.
You know you don't understand.
Get out of my face. Saquon Beckham plays a powered forward.
We know you don't.
That's right.
Know. So go ahead, Aguna.
Yeah, so that's NFL gold right there. The moment was made. So from that moment to now,
It wasn't a call.
what a
though.
difference a year
It was a
makes.
call.
What's a difference a year makes? And that it's a world championship, NFL rushing records, all of that played out in front of America on Hard Knocks. You cannot get any more, art imitates life, and that was captured in that film moment. NFL film that will live forever in infamy of NFL history and Eagles history. And so I actually have that same clip running on replay in my basement.
Oh my gosh.
Todd, I'm gonna send you a clip to match your outfit.
Please do, because he don't know what he's talking about. I got to move on though.
Let's go.
Let me share this screen, and let's talk about this real quick and get it out of the way.
Briefed lawmakers today about the ongoing measles outbreak in West Texas. Over the weekend, the number of cases increased by 12 to 158. Officials say they're beginning to see more people get vaccinated, especially in affected areas. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is live with more on the outbreak, as well as some isolated cases we've seen elsewhere. Amelia.
Clarice, the updated numbers of measles cases was shared during a Texas House Committee meeting on public health today. The efficacy of the vaccine was also a topic of discussion. I spoke with a former chief epidemiologist today who shared the combination of vaccinations and isolating after exposure is still the best way to minimize the spread. The Texas State Department of Health Services shared the number of measles cases linked to the outbreak in West Texas is now at 158. That's up from 146 reported on Friday. The update was given during a Texas House Committee meeting on public health Monday. This led to questions about the measles vaccine.
It's a weakened form of the virus, and it causes a really strong immune response that can last for the rest of your life. And so it's one of our really good ones.
DSHS reports some of those infected had at least one dose of the vaccine, but the majority were not vaccinated or their status was unknown. There are a few isolated cases that are not included in the state's count. It included cases reported in Rockwall and Austin, where people contracted the disease after traveling abroad.
So we've been increasingly seeing more cases since last year, but we do see cases, import cases routinely from Asia, Africa, the Middle East, when people travel and they're not vaccinated or they're under-vaccinated. So that does happen.
Diana Cervantes is a former chief epidemiologist for the state. She says in high vaccination areas, measles is less likely to cause an outbreak if someone comes home with the disease. But it spreads to other areas that have a high under-vaccinated or not vaccinated population. That's when cases start to spread and can become an outbreak.
And I know I've definitely worked outbreaks where it starts with somebody who was under-vaccinated or vaccinated with very mild disease. They didn't recognize it as measles, and then it spread to people who weren't vaccinated.
DSHS reports in recent days there have been an increase in vaccinations, especially in the affected areas of West Texas. Cervantes acknowledged that there's still vaccine hesitancy from the pandemic, but also a lack of awareness about vaccination status, especially in children.
It's a combination of, yeah, people are definitely a little bit more hesitant, but also because just people got behind not even thinking about it because it felt like, oh, it was a pandemic, and then all of a sudden just trying to get things back into normalcy, they just got behind and forgot about it.
Cervantes also advises people, if you know you've been exposed and you want to go to the doctor, call ahead to the doctor's office so you don't expose everyone in the waiting room. The measles virus can remain airborne for up to 2 hours, which is one reason why it's so contagious. DSHS has a list of potential exposure sites on its website. State officials update the case numbers every Tuesday and Friday.
Yay.
I think you're on mute, Stacy.
I'm sorry, I'm talking. I'm sorry, I'm just talking and you don't hear me. I said, let's start with Todd. Measles outbreak. What is the federal government doing about it?
This is one of those things where you have the Kennedy talking negatively about vaccines.
No, it's not.
And I think there's going to be an outbreak of the measles, not only measles. I think these diseases that we had controlled are going to come back, like polio. And and so he's so weird. So and when they come back,
that's such a ridiculous thing to say.
What happened to the measles? There was no measles outbreak just a year ago.
No, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? I don't know. It's because Kennedy's in there.
Okay, we can't do this back and forth. Stop asking him questions, cousin Todd.
I'm not asking him anything.
Thank you,
he's just talking.
You said he's so weird.
That's not a question. That's a statement and a fact. Now, this is going to continue, and it's just, and I don't mind because I know how to get a vaccine. So does Keith, but he won't tell you that he did it, just like he did with the coronavirus when he got the coronavirus shot and pretended like it was mandatory, and he knew it wasn't mandatory, so he got it anyway, him and his wife, because he didn't want to die like 999. And so he went out and got it, but he didn't tell his boy toy, Stephen. So there we are.
Thank you, Aguna. I'm sure you had your children vaccinated for measles. This is kind of like common, but parents do have the option not to have their children vaccinated.
Well,
right?
they stopped giving it mandatorily in the 60s and 70s. Like when I was born in 78, it wasn't mandatory anymore.
I was talking to Aguna. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you,
Todd.
Todd.
Next, Stacy, since he
after Aguna. Go ahead, Aguna.
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to the parents. I know some parents choose to, some parents don't. But understand the risk associated, because if you choose not to, you do run the risk of infecting other people as well as your kid dying and stuff like that. So as long as you're aware of that and still are willing to take on the consequences of that, I don't think people have problems with vaccines. I think people have problems with the mandatory nature of it, right? So that people didn't want to take vaccines by the government, and to be, that's where, the whole pushback and all the angst was, even though the circumstances in the pandemic were a little bit different because, we didn't know what we didn't know. And there was a lot of stuff going on. It hadn't, taken its course like it has now. So there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknowns. But at the end of the day, with the measles, get your kids vaccinated if you choose to. If not, okay, just be willing to accept the consequences of that.
But then they can pass it on to the other children.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with, so to that point, my son's on a soccer team. If you're sick, don't come to practice. All right. So it's like, if you're exposed, then the team can say, hey, you cannot come, you can't be around the other folks. So that's one of the consequences of that action. Now, you can choose to do whatever you want to within the confines of your own body and your home. But when it comes to exposing other people, that's where you're subject to the restrictions of the law, the rules, or whatever.
Okay, thank you. Keith.
Yes, Todd was correct. I did get the vaccine for COVID. I got it twice, and I didn't have a problem with it. I use my faith. I am a Christian. I believe that God is the healer, and He gives strength to those who need it. So I prayed. I asked God. I said, Lord, help me make a decision. And the Lord said, you don't have to worry about it. Go ahead and do it. His grace is sufficient for me. His strength is made perfect in my weakness. So I took the vaccinations. I don't have a problem with vaccinations. If I pray, it's just like I pray over my food. Foods are being poisoned with chemicals. And Kennedy was talking about that too. But am I going to stop eating? Are we going to stop eating? They heard about all the foods that we were told when we were kids
No, you
that
say your
were bad
grace.
for us, are now they're talking about things like blueberries and
Thank you.
strawberries and
Thank
things
you.
like that. So
Steven?
I'm not going to worry about it. No, let me finish. I'm
Let them
not going to
finish.
worry about
Yeah.
it. So I took
And
my vaccination. Big deal.
and saying your
I'm
grace
fine.
before eating is smart.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
saying a prayer before you take the
Yeah.
vaccine is smart.
Yes. Thank
thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Steven.
All right, Todd.
RFK Jr., Mr. Kennedy, is not anti-vaccine. He wants them to be studied and gone through more thoroughly. They want to make sure these are safe for people because he believes they have a tendency not to be safe. Like autism is way up. Used to be like 1 in 20,000 people.
And
Now
that's
it's about 1
related
in
to
30 people.
vaccines.
And some people are like Aguna said, it's not about people being afraid of vaccines. There's a lot of people afraid of vaccines and afraid to get their children vaccinated. It's a lot of people that never had been vaccinated and they never get ill. So a lot of people are really worried about it. They got heavy metals, they got stuff in these vaccines. Not just in the COVID ones are ridiculously bad. I would never have taken those ever. Don't ever take those. They're bad, and that could be long-term
Why did you?
bad
How do you know
repercussions for
that?
your health because
How
of the
do you
COVID
know?
shots.
How do you know?
But because they've done a lot of studies on it, Todd. They've done a lot of studies and a lot of independent studies. And those COVID shots can really hurt you. And a lot of people have been hurt. A lot of people have died because they had the COVID shots. And the people are hesitant to get vaccines now because of things like that, because a lot of those other vaccines are not tested. They're not really put through the trials like they should be. And they don't have a placebo. They don't do a placebo trial. They don't do a lot of trials that they should have done. And Robert Kennedy is being Robert Kennedy is being very balanced about everything. He said, I'm not saying don't get them. He said, I just want them to be tested more. I just want to find out what's really in them. What are they doing? Are they causing more autism? Stuff like that that's hurting people.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move on. Watch this.
Just in the fact rules regulating the discharge of water pollution. It narrows the landmark Clean Water Act. San Francisco sued the EPA after the city was accused of violating certain guidelines for discharging sewage into the Pacific Ocean. The decision is the latest rollback on the EPA's ability to regulate pollution. Last summer, the court blocked an agency initiative to regulate air pollution that drifts across state lines.
All right. Does anyone want to make a comment on that?
I don't think that. I think that went over their heads. You have to explain what that.
Yeah, being in California. Go ahead, Keith.
No,
Yeah,
let Todd,
I'm gonna,
Todd, wait. Let Todd finish, and then just finish your statement, Todd, and then
Sure.
Keith.
Oh, I thought Todd
Okay,
was done.
that went over their heads. They don't know what that was even about. They're talking about regulations are no more, so you can pollute the air, you can put sewer water in the ocean, free will, and with no problems. That's what rollbacks mean. Roll back the regulations, and to what end? That's all. And is that a good thing, Keith and Stephen?
Well, it's not a good thing, but I'll tell you one thing. I stopped worrying about it a long time ago. That's like when I was a kid. I remember in the 60s, out here in Los Angeles, it used to be very pollution, a lot of air pollution. And so we would say we're in a basin. So we used to look up and you couldn't even see the mountains, certain mountains or Hollywood from where I lived. But now you can see it. Everything is clear. It's amazing how everybody was saying we're going to
Why?
die,
How
we're
did
going to
it get
suffocate.
clear? How did it
Well,
get
let
clear?
me finish. Well, I'll tell you, it got clear because they started regulating. They started regulating the auto industry and manufacturers, and so that helped, and it
They
did
sent
help.
them to other countries. They
Yeah.
sent
So now
manufacturing to other
they didn't
countries.
pollute. So they didn't pollute as much. So here's the thing. The thing I've decided is I'm not going to worry about pollution or poisons of the atmosphere, the water, the climate. I'm not worried about any of that because see, God is the maker of all of that. And I guess what? If I die prematurely, I know where I'm going. So I'm not really concerned about that. What I'm concerned mostly about is
Maybe because you
the
don't have any
direct.
children.
No, I got nieces, I got cousins, I got kids.
So you don't care if
So
they
the
die
point I'm
prematurely?
no, I
Yeah.
care. That's why all I
Can't do
care about
nothing.
mostly is civic learning, learning about our country and how to maintain, learning about our history so that we can not make the same mistakes that our forefathers made and that many people made. That's what I'm more concerned about. So that's what I will focus on. Because you can't stop all of this stuff. And then one other thing, I will say this, that my faith, and I'm not speaking for everybody, I speak for myself. My faith is what will get me through, just like when Jesus said, they shall drink any deadly thing and it shall not harm them, because God is my savior and my defender, and he's my healer.
Let me see you drink a
There you
cup of
go.
bleach right now.
I don't drink bleach. I'm not going to do anything foolish. But when serpents were biting on Paul, it had no effect. A serpent bit Paul, and Paul the apostle still kept going, shook it off. So I know that whatever poisons I don't know about, that's in God's hands. There you
Okay,
go.
thank you. And we're going to move on to this with the Supreme Court. Watch this.
Supreme Court will soon make a decision in a historic case ruling if American gun manufacturers can be held liable for allegedly aiding and abetting the illicit flow of weapons across the U.S.-Mexico border. Justices heard oral arguments today. The lawsuit focuses on law which bars lawsuits against any gun manufacturer over the illegal acts a person using one of its guns commits. The government of Mexico is seeking $10 billion in damages, alleging certain manufacturers marketed and distributed weapons at the border. The Supreme Court is expected to release a decision by the end of June.
Wow, that's let's start with Stephen and then go to Keith, Aguna, and Cousin Todd. Stephen.
Yeah, I want to say to start off on the last one, no, I don't like pollution at all. If there's anything they're doing to knock regulations out to make it pollution worse than it is, I don't like it at all, Todd. I'm with you on that. But this new one, what's this new one, Stacy?
The one
What's
I
this
just
next one?
showed. Okay, Keith, can you take it?
No, can you just reverberate me? Because I was trying to keep my other thought in my head.
Redo what?
I was trying to keep the other thought in my head. So what was it, Stacy?
Him.
Okay, so that was about the Supreme
Guns,
Court of Mexico.
Oh, it's guns. Okay, just say guns.
is-
Because no, there's
suing.
nothing that Mexico can do. There's nothing Mexico can do. They don't hold any cards, like Trump would say. There's nothing they're going to do to us. They can come up and say, "Oh, we did something. We were selling guns." No, they can't. That's ridiculous. They have no case. There's nothing they can do. It's just dumb. Maybe they're trying to get, what was it, $10 million or something? billion. Yeah, they're trying to sue for 10 billion. It's not going to happen, and the gun manufacturers are not going to lose that. They're just not. Guns sometimes end up in hands they shouldn't end up in. But I don't believe they're intentionally trying to get cartels guns and stuff that they could use to do nefarious things. Stacey,
Okay, thank you, Keith.
thank you.
Yeah, they've well, back in Obama's day, when Obama was ruling,
Right.
they had a guns program.
Obama.
Guna,
Back to Obama.
That's right.
Obama.
Guna,
they're always
I
going
want to Guna too.
But it's
Guna, no,
true.
seriously.
What about
It's true.
JFK? He
You don't
did
even.
too.
No, let me finish my point before
What
you
about
even
George
criticize me.
Bush?
Let me finish my point before you even criticize, because all I'm going to say is that Obama, there was a program back then that he initiated, and they were getting guns buyback, back and forth in Mexico. So I mean,
They
that
were
is a
running
part
guns.
of
What was the program?
that's what I was trying to remember. You guys,
I
can you
can't remember
guys
the name of
refresh?
it.
So why did you bring it up?
I remember it. It was
What
called
is
the
it?
Iran Contra.
No, not that one. That wasn't it. It was
Yeah,
No,
it
he's
was.
joking.
So you want to invoke
Ronald
Obama
Reagan
for
was
some
giving
reason?
weapons.
You know the program which you're going to invoke him about.
No, but seriously, I'm sure that you guys can
But
help
it's
me on
true.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
But it
anyway,
was.
they were running guns.
Is that a false
All you have to
equivalent?
do is look it up when Obama ran guns. Just look it up.
well, I'll have to look
Obama
it up.
ran guns.
Yeah, I'll look it
During
up.
his
Look it up.
administration,
want us
they
to
ran
believe
guns.
Look
Yeah.
what he looks like. Of course,
Well,
But
okay,
I
guys,
think George Bush. I think George
take
Bush
it
was
from
doing
here,
it as
guys.
well.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think
Go
Take it
George
from
Bush
here.
was doing it as well.
He ran guns and
Take it from here.
fentanyl and everything. Obama
All
ran
right,
drugs
take it
and
from here,
guns.
and then I'll just look it up.
You
You
he
guys
just did
take it from
everything.
here. Go ahead, Laguna. Take it
I
from
know
here.
you love him.
There was a
I'll look it up.
buyback program, but it was at like the local level. It was like
It
street
wasn't a
level.
buyback.
It wasn't about
See if you can look it up.
a false equivalent of what the country of Mexico is trying to sue about. They're saying that gun manufacturers deliberately distributed guns at the border for whatever reason. And so if they can prove it, they may have a case. If not, well, that's for the courts to decide. They got to have evidence. And if they have evidence and they can prove it, hey, that's what the court system is for, right? Now, at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff going on at the border, right? You got fentanyl coming one way. So one hand, we want to hold Mexico accountable for the fentanyl that's coming across the border and trafficking and all that other stuff. And on the other hand, Mexico wants to hold us accountable for all the guns that they get, right? So at the end of the day, there's something going on down there. So you can't just say they don't have cars, we don't have cars. At the end of the day, if there's a judicial system, there are laws for a reason. Follow the law.
Okay, thank you, cousin Todd.
Oh boy. The thing is here, I'm going to be very honest with you. Donald Trump is a mess. And all of his boy toys are hilarious. You got Little Hans Rubio. You got J.D. Vance. He was the one that he's married to the Indian woman. And he told this racist, he wanted him to get his job back because, come on, second chances. And this racist had talked about his wife and Indians negatively. And I wonder how his wife feels about him saying he should get his job back. And this boy said, oh, I was racist before racism was cool. So anyway, these are all Trump's boy toys. You got, let me see, what did I say? J.D. Vance, you got Little Hans Rubio, you have Euro Trash.
What's that got to do with Mexico and the Supreme Court and the guns?
With Obama, it was called Fast and Furious. Look up Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
That was Obama's
I see
Watergate. Look it
I
up.
see it. I see it.
Obama's Watergate.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see
that
it.
was huge. That was a big scandal for Obama. It
I
was.
don't
Yeah.
remember 8 years ago.
I know
I
you
see
can't
it.
remember 8 minutes ago.
No,
Yeah, I know.
I want to finish
That's
what I was saying.
that's like a
Hey, go ahead,
Cowboys
cousin Todd.
Thank you,
championship ring.
Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. I
Thank
see
you.
it, Stephen.
All right.
Thank
You're welcome,
you,
sir.
Y'all can kiss later.
Yeah, we don't want that on this show.
We have a long-distance relationship.
It's a children's show, guys.
Yeah, for goodness
We have
Stop
a
it.
very
Hey,
long-distance
excuse me.
relationship.
The president is about to come on. I know you don't want to miss it, so we got to hurry up so we can go. Todd, finish your point.
Okay, well, that's all. I just wanted to talk about Donald Trump's boy toys.
Okay, this is our
Thank
last
you.
This is our last.
Apple is so interesting too. I think we would all agree.
Sorry. That's not what I wanted.
Oh, you probably wanted the fact that people are losing their jobs. These are veterans who are losing their jobs, left, right, and sideways.
Of everyone,
Let me play it again.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight.
I thought he stepped down.
And the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time.
All right. This will be our round table. We're going to start with Keith, Stephen, Aguna, Cousin Todd. It's Tariff Tuesday.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Don't we want to include Lewinsky on with Trump, how they ambushed him? Include that and
they didn't ambush him.
Let's start with this.
He's a little punk.
Let's start with this, and then we go to that. So we're going to start. So you got to move fast, Keith. Tariff
Okay,
Tuesday.
first of all, they didn't ambush him. He ambushed them.
Focus on the tariffs.
And by the Democrats. Now the tariffs. On the tariffs, I am really glad that Trump is doing this. And as far as Mexico, Canada, and China, hallelujah. I mean,
but give us a reason why.
Let's just see what
why
happens.
Are you glad about that?
Because in the long run, it's going to do us better. Already, we have businesses that are manufacturers that are coming back. Indiana, and other places, there are manufacturers that are coming back to the United States because they see that they have a better opportunity. And I think that that'll create better opportunities for business.
What manufacturers?
I had it here, notes of it. I don't have it on me.
Yeah, sure.
But
Well,
these,
make sure you get it for
manufacturers
next
are
show.
coming
I
back.
need to know.
Yeah, there are two of them that I had.
over $1 trillion.
I sent it over. Listen, I sent it over to Stacy, but she doesn't always use all that stuff because I send her a lot of stuff. But
businesses are guaranteeing over $1 trillion coming to our country.
There are two of them. There are two of them.
So $1 trillion coming from where?
Other countries starting new businesses here.
Yeah,
so they're moving from other countries.
Different companies in this country, different companies from other countries that come in here.
Good.
Because Trump will treat them well because it'll be in America.
That has nothing to do with
tariffs. It's going to bring lots of jobs. It's going to take 5-6 years for it to get really cemented.
So go ahead, Stephen. So if it takes 5 or 6 years, that means we're not going to be able to pay for eggs for 5 or 6 years.
I don't know anybody that eat eggs. The eggs got destroyed when Biden was in office, and he destroyed about 1 million of them or more. But what these tariffs are, things are going to go well really fast, but there's some businesses that's going to take longer. But we have what's called reciprocal tariffs, reciprocal, which means we match what they are doing to us. What their tariffs are for us, we match them. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're trying to get an even squeeze. And now Canada has nothing to go against us. And Mexico has nothing to go against us. Nobody does. What they're going to do is they're going to kowtow. They're going to be back. And they're making threats to us. There's a guy, I don't know his name, but it's a guy in Canada that said he's going to cut off our power supply to part of our country to different states. He's going to cut the power supply because these tariffs are going through. Canada does not want to mess with us. We are way too powerful for them. They need to sit down. They need to shut up. And they need to go along with the program because they're trying to make the world better for everybody, and that's what they're doing. Canada has no shot going against us. They're not our partner. They're not equal to us. They're not an equal player in our game.
Well, what you
That's like the Eagles playing a high school team.
What are you talking about?
Aguna.
Canada has nothing for us. They cannot threaten us. They can't beat us in a tariff war.
Okay, you said that. You said that.
You said, what are you talking about?
Who's paying for the tariffs? Who's paying for it?
Well, everybody is.
Everybody.
It doesn't matter. We have to get fairness. We have to get fairness
No,
from other countries.
let me get this straight.
Stop talking. So what I want you to do is somebody explain what are tariffs first, and then explain why it makes a difference that Canada said they're hitting back. Go ahead, Aguna.
And
tariffs are nothing but taxes. So he's raising taxes on goods, right? And all the manufacturers, anybody is going to do is going to pass them on to the consumer. So they don't care. You can put as much tariffs on these things and all that nonsense Stephen is talking about. Companies are coming back. No, they're just going to pass it on to the consumer.
They are coming back.
And at the end of the day, no, they're not. They're not.
Yes, they are.
Okay?
Oh,
At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, you're raising taxes on the American consumer at a time where consumer confidence is down. If you look at from Christmas to now, consumer spending is down, right? So consumer confidence in the economy is down. That's the reason why the Dow Jones dropped over 700 points today, because with tariffs comes uncertainty, and the market doesn't like uncertainty. I'm a free market guy. I'm a stay a free market guy. I don't think tariffs are good. Why? Because I want to force U.S. manufacturers to be competitive. I want to force people to be innovative. And if you put tariffs on, especially these blanket tariffs, what happens is you just punish the consumer. At the end of the day, we're paying for it. So it's not like we're winning some Super Bowl or anything like that. You, the American taxpayer, you, the American consumer,
it's temporary. It's not permanent. These are temporary.
Okay,
it's temporary. They'll go broke before we go broke.
You pay for it. I don't care.
Canada and Mexico will go broke before we.
It's not good free market.
Excuse me. We have a comment from
not good free market practice.
Gotta love YouTube says Canada removed all U.S. made alcohol off their shelves, and are doing the same with many U.S. imported goods. Keith, American companies are not coming back. It's too expensive. Cousin Tom.
No, it's not.
No, that's a lie.
Yes, it is. That's why they left to begin with.
That's a lie.
Yeah, but they're coming back now.
Don't let them get away with it, Steve.
They're coming back now because they're getting sweet deals through Donald Trump. Business is coming back to United States.
Cousin Tom, we're out of time. Go ahead, Cousin Tom.
Who's coming back?
American manufacturers are increasingly bringing our production back to the U.S. This is
who?
Cousin Todd.
I'll send you the companies.
Okay. This is the thing. And Aguna, you can't reason with stupidity like this. You simply can't. They're too dumb to know that this boy is only going to be in office for 4 years. And so it's going to take the company 4 years to even get started. And
some of them.
This is how dumb they are. Listen, they were saying food prices are too high under Joe Biden. Food prices, they're even higher now, and they're going even higher, dumb. So what do you say now? So what? It's temporary, huh? Now they were just complaining about food prices. Eggs just went up again, and and now these tariffs for crap you used to buy from Walmart and Target for $29.99. Now you'll pay $39.99, and this will continue. So there's no American company that is going to start manufacturing clothes and stuff in the United States. It costs too much. This is why they left decades ago.
Watch.
And they're not coming back. Listen,
they are.
Trump said himself, they're gone and they ain't coming back.
They are coming back. We've got chip manufacturers that are coming back to the United States. We got people to make chips. I'll send you the list. You already saying is completely wrong, Todd. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I know. And then
you don't know anything you're talking about.
What kind of diplomacy,
not going to move the needle.
you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that's trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
Remember
you're
this.
doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel
We're
influenced.
going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he's having to be right about
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people. You're gambling with World War
How
III.
is he gambling?
Gambling.
It's so ignorant.
Yep.
And this is these are stupid Trump supporters who have no intelligence. No
He's gambling with World War III. Todd, he
Now,
doesn't
shut
want to
up.
stop the war. He doesn't want
He
the war to
wants to
end
stop-
because he'll stop being the president and he
up,
won't make any
dum-dum.
more money.
Shut up,
He
dum-dum.
wants his
Now, this
millions
is
and
the
millions
thing.
that he skims.
Casey.
He's a corrupt leader.
Okay, stop. We're going to start a roundtable. We're going to start with Keith, then Stephen, then Cousin Todd. I don't know. Maybe Aguna will come back. I'm not sure. It looks
Okay.
like he got disconnected.
All right.
Oh, here's
Here we
Aguna.
go.
So we'll start with Keith. Go ahead, Keith.
This is
Okay,
roundtable.
what is this? This about the look? Trump did a good thing. He just he put the man in his place. He put him in check because that guy is very disrespectful and ungrateful.
How was he being disrespectful and
350
ungrateful?
billion
Explain yourself.
350 billion with a B. That's what we have given him so far. I
You
mean,
didn't
come on,
give
our
him
tax
anything.
dollars.
He didn't take any
Our
money
tax
from the
dollars.
United States.
Our tax dollars. Where you been, man? You sleep or something? What are you talking
Okay,
about?
thank you, Stephen.
That man just said he didn't take any money from the United States. This is
didn't.
what
He
we
took
got here with
weapons,
Todd,
you
everybody.
dumb,
You just
ignorant
heard him,
person.
right? He didn't take
Weapons.
any money from the United States. That's brilliant. No, Zelensky is a terribly corrupt human being. He's one of the worst
And how
people in the
would you
world.
know?
And
How
he
would
should
you
never
know?
have gone in there like that. He underestimated who's running this country right now. I guess he's too busy to pay attention. But it's not the Biden administration anymore. And he went and spoke to a bunch of Democrats before he walked in, and he thought he was in the clear and he was fine. He still thinks the deep state runs this country. No, it doesn't. It's Donald Trump and it's MAGA and it's all of us. We run the country now. So he's going to come back with his little tail between his legs because he likes the way it feels. And he's going to beg Donald Trump to do something for him. Because Donald Trump says, you don't get anything from us. You don't get any weapons. You don't get any money. You don't get anything from us unless you come to us and sign a deal. And you apologize to me first for being a little bitch. He said, you're being a little bitch, Todd. And I know that's your boyfriend. I know that's going to piss you off because I know you love him. But he's a really bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's a bad leader. He's bad for his country. And he also said he doesn't want the war to stop. If he doesn't want the war to stop, that means he wants another million people to die, Todd. I'm anti-war. That's why I love Donald Trump, because he's trying to stop a war. But dumbasses on the left don't care about stopping a war, Todd. You don't care about stopping the war. You don't care about innocent people dying. You don't care about people like you being dragged out off the street and taken to the front lines, because that's who Ukraine has fighting their war right now. You know, he doesn't want to end the war because he's making money, dumbass. What is wrong with the left? What is wrong with the left, everybody? What's wrong with you? That you support Ukraine. No, you don't. Make the war end today. That's what Donald Trump just said. He was getting office. He's going to end the wars because he's anti-war. He's anti all of this. What is?
Thank you, Aguna.
You people have no moral.
Aguna.
The devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar.
Zelensky didn't start the war. I mean, he came in there. You know, he didn't start the war. He didn't invade Russia. He invaded. So know why all this emotion about what's going on here. I mean, I think the U.S. was always in a position of strength. For that to happen in the Oval Office the way it did, it actually made us look a little weaker than we. I mean, again, you're beating up on a country that's coming to you for aid and trying to say you need to say thank you and all this stuff. He was invaded. He was invaded. So I get it. Yeah, maybe in some weird way he was being disrespectful for some reason because
Don't entertain
JD Vance got caught off guard because he said, what diplomacy? We tried that, it didn't work. The diplomacy to save your country. But again, at the end of the day, the U.S. is the most powerful country in the world. We have nothing to prove. We don't have to beat down anybody. You can just be you're already, you don't have to project, we're coming from a position of strength. You already know. So at the end of the day, it would have been a little bit more productive. I don't think he was talking to Russia that same way. Would he have talked to Putin in that same regard? No. And again, Putin was the aggressor here. Now, yes, Ukraine should have been grateful. Yes, Ukraine needs to make
don't say that. They were grateful. He said thank you 1,000 times.
But at the end of the day, so I think what's lost in all of this is the fact that his country was invaded. He didn't invade anybody. So to say that,
but that was 3 years ago. It's time to end the war now, Aguna. It's time to end the war. It doesn't matter that they invaded it. Russia was already. They were also provoked. They were very much provoked.
Thank you. Let me share this comment from Chris. One of our viewers, Chris C, says, "What is wrong with Steven?" If you see it on the screen, and then You Gotta Love YouTube says, "Shaking my damn head at Gandalf, Steven, and Uncle Ruckus, Keith."
And we know who that is. Hey, Nas.
Uncle Ruckus.
Sorry you couldn't be on, Nas.
Get the white man's heaven. Look,
okay. And You Gotta Love YouTube says, Trump still acts like he's on his reality show.
Yeah, I think part of it was for the cameras. And he even said it.
Yeah, it was.
So it looked good.
It wasn't.
If you think of, he bitch slapped Zelensky. Okay, is that really what we're trying to do here? Is that what?
No, he wanted Zelensky just to go along with the program. They had already made the deal. He just wanted to go along with it, but he changed the script. Zelensky changed the script, not Trump.
He said diplomacy is tried. He said we tried diplomacy. That's all he said.
Okay. This nonsense about he already made the deal. He did not. What he went there to do, dumb, was say we need assurances. I'm not going to sign anything with you just saying, "Oh, we'll protect you." No, I don't trust you. I don't trust your lover, Putin. So we need assurances, promises that you will protect us. When, first of all, the United States told Ukraine, if you get rid of your nuclear weapons, we'll protect you. We don't want you to build any nuclear weapons, and we will protect you. You're too dumb to know that America told them
we already know that. We already know that, but they could protect them by having running a business out of Ukraine.
And can you tell them to stop talking? So then what Putin said is, yeah, we'll back you too. If you don't build any nuclear weapons, we'll back you with the United States. And then they invaded them. So Putin is not to be trusted. And then Donald Trump said, what is it?
Here's the thing, Todd. With this administration, the Trump administration, that was duly elected by the people of the United States, right?
I'm waiting.
If the president wants to align himself with Putin in order to end this war, that is mandated to do.
Okay, wait a minute.
So now what I'm saying
Putin wants to end the war. Putin wants the war to end.
As much as it is, no, listen to what I'm saying. Because we're gonna sit here and we're gonna go back and forth about how unpresidential and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, this president has decided that, you know what, I'm going to align myself with whatever is going to end this war, right? And he said, you're not going to get concessions.
Okay, you're breaking up. Where you're breaking up.
You're not going to get any of that. The bottom line of it is he's saying he wants to end the war. He's not saying it's going to be fair for the Ukraine. He's saying we're going to be fair.
Okay, shut up.
It's not going to be fair. They're not going to give up any territory.
All right,
They're not going to give back the territory. How can it be fair?
Boy just talked all over me.
You mean Aguna?
Go ahead.
Yes. Forget it. We got to get out now.
Well, at the end of the day, the president is deciding what to do. If Trump thinks that aligning with Putin is going to end the war, he's going to do it.
Yeah, he
That's
is
what-
aligning.
He wants to end the war. We want to end the war.
In our communities,
Gosh,
you
I
make our
can't
lives
finish
livable.
a sentence with these two weirdos.
To our women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on the show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of our past, our back to normal guest, Aguna, the voice of reason,
Who talks a lot.
Keith, the
Stop it.
constitutional
Don't be mad.
conservative,
White man's heaven. Here I come.
Stephen, the independent thinker,
AKA Lucy.
Gandalf cast a spell on.
and my cousin Todd.
I just can't get in Urban Planet Urban Fitness.
I'm Stacy Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on Twitch.
I'll take these clothes off.
Excuse me.
Don't.
Twitch, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Sporlitiks.com, and Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. We're back. Back tonight. See you next week.
Gandalf and Uncle Ruckus. Gandalf and Uncle Ruckus.
You know what I was trying to say was just this. And I sent you a clip, Stacy, about what's that queen's name who's always flip-flopping? First he hates Trump, then he loves Trump, then he hates Trump, then he loves Trump. Lindsey Graham, who said Putin is going to take 50% of Russia, and we should not 50% of Ukraine, and we should not allow that. So this is what I'm saying to Aguna. He's signing with Putin to make a deal. No, he's giving Ukraine to Putin.
No, he's not. No,
But
he's not.
Stephen, let me ask you something. What if he did? What if he is? What if he is?
But he's not. That's not true.
What if he is? Why do you have a
It's
problem
going to be
with that?
amicable. It's going to be good for both sides. That's what Trump wants to do. That's why he's trying to
Ukraine
negotiate both
supposed to
sides.
give him any of Ukraine.
Oh, they're
He
gonna.
doesn't-
You know what? You're dealing with a president that's going to be pushed too far. And
Time
Putin,
out,
he could go
Stephen,
nuclear,
Stephen,
and it could be
Stephen,
millions of
listen,
people dying.
listen, Stephen.
This little punk
So
that
you
you support
Stephen,
is
let me
making
ask
money.
you-
That's his only
let me ask you
motivation.
this.
Is to
You
stay
don't
in
like
power and make
Zelensky.
money.
You don't like
He's
Zelensky,
making
right?
money. He remember he
Stephen,
said, "I don't know where
listen.
$100 billion are."
Listen, Stephen,
Where is the
I'm
$100
asking
billion
you a clean-
go? I don't know. That's what
He's not going to stop
Zelensky
talking.
said.
I'm leaving.
They're stealing
Stephen.
your money, Todd. Doesn't that piss
Stephen.
you off? And a million people
Shut
have
up,
died.
stupid. Stop
Doesn't that make you
talking.
upset that we could end a war and not have any more
Rambling.
Ukrainians or Russians die? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Stephen,
Person I've
if
ever
the
seen in
Ukraine
my
goes
life.
back into Russia, why do you care?
What?
If the Ukraine is returned to Russia, why do you care?
Ukraine is not going to be returned to Russia. What
It's
Russia's
not.
trying to do is stop
No, you-
NATO.
no,
When
no,
Joe
no,
Biden
you're not
said that
asking-
the
you're not
Ukraine
answering the
could join
question.
NATO,
You're not
that's when
answering the
Putin got
question.
pissed off because Russia's
has
been
nothing to
invaded
do
many
with that.
times.
You didn't
They
answer
have
the question.
NATO surrounding them right now and choking them down. That's why they were
Oh, you're worried
forced to
about
go to
Russia
war.
then.
And Joe Biden said
they
just
were
a little
forced-
bit of war is okay. Just a little bit of aggression is okay, and he allowed it to start. So who allowed
So they
the war to
said,
start? It was Joe Biden. Because I'll show you the clip where he says that.
Again, you're rambling.
You could
Stephen.
go watch